Kansas City, Missouri passed a law like several other large cities that says that landlords have to accept tenants who have Section 8 vouchers. Now, a federal judge has blocked that law. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. Alright, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of my stomping ground, my hometown of Kansas City. Okay, so Kansas City, Missouri passed a law saying that landlords have to accept tenants with Section 8 vouchers. They call it, preventing income discrimination, saying that, hey, it's not right that landlords are rejecting tenants with these vouchers because this is their income. And that is a complete bunch of garbage. Simply put, if it's income, why don't you pay taxes on it? I pay taxes on all my income. That's why I know this is an income, because it is an entitlement. It is a gift being given to someone. And the federal government specified that Section 8 and housing vouchers are, it is up to the landlord if they want to participate. They're voluntary. They are not mandatory. So what is this garbage where these states and these municipalities are saying that landlords must take these vouchers? It's complete hogwash. Okay? Yeah, hogwash. So, you know what? I don't agree with those sort of laws. I am glad that this federal judge decided, hey, this is not consistent with what I believe the law says. So yeah, landlords, they are making little small wins. And I believe that not only that, but in the state of Missouri, the state legislature was actually trying to pass a law, or maybe they did pass a law that says that, hey, landlords don't have to accept these vouchers. Okay, I don't think it's discriminatory. I think that since the federal government set this law up to be voluntary, all they are doing is complying with the way that the law and these vouchers were originally implemented. Okay, so before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. So do you believe that Section 8 should be voluntary, or do you believe it should be mandatory? That's the first question. Okay, and the second question is, if it is mandatory, right, then why is it that, and it is income, why is it that people don't pay taxes on it? Okay, yeah, you should consider, let's say that Section 8 gives a person $1,000 a month towards their housing. Then in my opinion, that should count as $12,000 per year worth of income if they want to say that this is income-based discrimination. Anyway, let me get into this article. I'm going to tell you what they're doing in Kansas City, what's happening with this federal judge. This article is coming from kshb.com, and it says, federal judge blocks Kansas City housing ordinance that prevented landlords from refusing Section 8 tenants. Let's get into it. A federal judge blocked a Kansas City, Missouri housing ordinance that caused a rift last year between housing advocates and landlords. KSHB 41 News amplified those voices on the ordinance, which prevented landlords from refusing to rent to tenants based on source of income, including Section 8 vouchers. After a year-long court battle, a judge ruled Tuesday the ordinance is not valid. The city council just went one step too far, Doug Stone, an attorney for the landlord, said. Yeah, and simply put, I'll get into the rationale behind it, but like I said, there's a lot of different factors that are involved in here. Things where, hey, the city ordinance doesn't exactly agree with what state law says. Okay, the city ordinance does not agree with what the federal government says. Okay, and to me, that doesn't make any sense. The city is coming in there and they're trying to implement more strict laws than state law and federal law. And to me, you can't have your island of extreme leftism within the city limits. And because what would that lead to? Okay, it's going to lead to, okay, well, yeah, communism, it isn't legal in the United States, but we're going to have communism right here inside Kansas City. No, idiotic. Now, I didn't own any real estate within Kansas City. I used to own properties within Jackson County, Missouri, which is the same county where Kansas City is located. My properties were in Independence, but I saw that, hey, you know what, these things, they could bleed over into the areas where I am investing, and that was scary. Okay, now I sold all my properties in Kansas City last year for multiple reasons. Okay, I was struggling for multiple reasons, but this was a contributing factor of why I did not want to be investing there, because I saw the writing on the wall. I saw that, hey, things are getting worse for landlords there. And as I often say, if they aren't treating you right, or if it looks like things are going to start going your way or going against your way, where you're not able to operate your business the way you see fit, then move to somewhere where they do treat you right. That's what I've always said. There's too many places throughout the country where you can invest where they don't treat you like garbage. And I saw things such as this whole, trying to force landlords to take housing vouchers. I saw the formation of large tenant unions in Kansas City, and I was like, no, you know what, man, this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. Under state and city laws, Missouri landlords cannot discriminate against renters because of race, gender, or sexuality. The Kansas City, Missouri City Council passed the ordinance to add protections against discrimination of source of income, including Section 8 vouchers, which is a voluntary federal program. The ordinance passed in 2024 10-3, with council members Kevin O'Neill, Nathan Willett, and Wes Rogers voting against. Being in the Section 8 program as a landlord is that you are signing a waiver of your constitutional rights against searches without a warrant, Stone said. Constitutional concerns led two Kansas City landlords to file a lawsuit against the city. Stone, their attorney, explained what a federal judge's preliminary injunction ruling in favor of the landlords means. And that's kind of funny when you sit here and look at the fact that the angle that they're going at is saying, hey, you know what, Section 8 requires to participate in the program an inspection. And that inspection is essentially somebody coming into your property and searching it, right? And since you are being forced to participate in the program and you are forcing these people to have inspections, then that means these people are forcing searches onto your property, and that's wrong. That's simply put wrong. It's an interesting angle. I wouldn't have thought of that angle myself. Like there's other aspects of it, other constitutional aspects, like taking private property for public use without just compensation. So basically, the public use is you're housing people for the federal government, okay, without being justly compensated. So they're forcing you to take people with Section 8 vouchers without paying you the market rate. That's what, my personal opinion is another constitutional issue involved in when you're renting to people who are on Section 8 vouchers. But, the angle they took, if it caused the judge to, put out there a preliminary injunction, then that's good as well. All this does is keep in effect the law as it was before the city adopted its ordinance, Stone said. Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas said in a statement he still supports the tenant housing access program. The actions taken by landlords to challenge the program in courts and in Jefferson City jeopardizes housing access for the over 17,000 Kansas Cityans waiting for housing vouchers, which leaves over 17,000 Kansas Cityans still looking for a stable place to live in our city, Mayor Lucas said. Having experienced homelessness in my own life, I can only hope that landlords spend time this winter working with the city, housing advocates in our community, and their renters to help people get and stay off the streets here in Kansas City, rather than looking to close the door to housing access through high-priced lobbyists and lawyers at our legislatures and in our courts. I don't like this guy, the current mayor of Kansas City, full of garbage. He has an interesting story if he experienced homelessness in his past and now he's the mayor of Kansas City, right? That's an interesting background, interesting story. And keep in mind though, Section 8 does not prevent homelessness. He mentioned right there are 17,000 people who are on the Section 8 housing voucher waiting list. So what does that mean? Does that mean all of those people are homeless? No, absolutely not. There's a ton of people who are on the housing voucher waiting list who are fully housed. They have housing right now, okay? They can afford housing right now. They live in housing right now. They just want the government to pay a portion of their rent instead of them having to pay 100% of it. Isn't that crazy how that works? So people who don't need a voucher, you know, like I've covered it before in articles where they say, hey, this person has been on the waiting list for a voucher for years. And I was like, well, was the person living in a car for all those years? Of course not. They weren't living in a car. They had somewhere and they were like, oh yeah, but I mean, I had to stay in this cheap place over here and I had to pay all the rent on my own. Man, it was tough. Yeah, that's what everyone is doing. They're paying what they can afford with the money that they make, and they don't have assistance from the government. So, you know, it's very misleading. It's very misleading saying that, hey, you know, like a landlord not taking this voucher somehow, the implication is that we're causing homelessness or we are keeping people stuck in homelessness, when a lot of the times that isn't the case. But what do you think, okay? Do you think that these landlords are right in saying that, hey, you know, this is a constitutional issue and that we shouldn't be forced to take these vouchers? Put a comment in the comment section down below.